They called him the Night Stalker. But what truly haunted Los Angeles in the summer of 1985 wasn't a man, it was fear itself. Imagine a city that doesn't sleep, not because of neon lights or Hollywood dreams, but because everyone is afraid to close their eyes. Doors were double locked, windows nailed shut. Fathers stayed awake with baseball bats. Children were too afraid to walk alone. Elderly couples, teenage girls, children, no one was safe. And he left behind no reason, only horror. But it didn't take long before the media realized they weren't reporting isolated crimes. These were connected. These were ritualistic. These were sadistic. The city was held hostage not by a gang or a war, but by one man. She survived. Her roommate inside the house was not so lucky. Just an hour later, Ramirez struck again, killing another woman in her home. Sometimes, he spoke of Satan, telling his victims to swear to the devil. He didn't just kill. He terrorized. He would force families to watch each other suffer. He would taunt them, laugh, and sometimes he would let some live, just to spread the fear further. Other times, he said nothing at all. He didn't kill for money. He didn't kill for revenge. He killed because he wanted to, and for good reason. He only struck at night, always under cover of darkness, always unpredictable. The next morning, as he entered a convenience store, people recognized him. He tried to flee, but this time, the city fought back. A 13-year-old boy witnessed Ramirez driving away in a stolen car after a brutal attack. The car was found. Inside, police lifted a fingerprint from the rearview mirror and it matched Richard Ramirez, a 25-year-old drifter with a long rap sheet and a disturbing past. One night, it was an elderly couple. The next, a 6-year-old child abducted and assaulted. But perhaps most chilling was how calm he remained through it all, like he believed he was untouchable. He killed sleep. He broke a city's sense of safety. He made people question what evil really looks like because it wasn't hiding under the bed. It was walking down the street, smiling, charming, laughing. The jury sentenced him to death. His response: he looked at the camera and said, "Big deal." His childhood was full of trauma: and abusive father, exposure to violence, Satanism, drug use. His cousin, a Vietnam vet, showed him photos of women he had raped and killed overseas. That same cousin later shot his wife in front of Richard's eyes when he was just 13. Death always comes with the territory. I'll see you in Disneyland. To murders, one night, and the killer left behind something chilling. A satanic pentagram drawn on the wall. He wanted people to be afraid of him, to whisper his name, to feel his presence in the dark. He sat in the courtroom with long black hair, smirking, flashing satanic symbols, and even yelling, "Hail Satan." In open court, he showed no remorse, no guilt, just arrogance. The Night Stalker may be gone, but the shadow he casts still lingers. Sometimes, they ride the bus, walk past your house, wait until the world is asleep, and then strike. And he didn't choose his victims. He didn't have a type. He didn't have a pattern. This is the story of Richard Ramirez. Just remember, it's not just the things you see that should scare you, but it's also the story of how darkness can wear a human face and how sometimes evil doesn't hide. It grins. Ramirez's reign of terror began quietly, with break-ins, burglaries, and escalating violence. In March 1985, 22-year-old Maria Hernandez was shot in the face while pulling into her garage. But that's what made him so dangerous. He didn't care who you were, where you lived, or what you did. All that mattered was that you were there and he was watching. What terrified detectives more than anything else? The randomness, no clear motive, no consistent weapon, no method to his madness. He used guns, knives, blunt objects. He raped, he tortured. Police were scrambling. The city was panicking, and Ramirez, he was just getting started. He would sneak into homes through unlocked windows, slipping in like a shadow. By June, LA was gripped in total fear. The media gave him a name, the Night Stalker. In August 1985, a turning point came. When his photo hit the news, the city held its breath. The monster had a face, but Ramirez didn't run. He stayed in LA, unaware his identity had been revealed. A group of bystanders chased him, cornered him, and beat him down until police arrived. The Night Stalker had been caught, but the horror was far from over. Ramirez's trial would become one of the most expensive and publicized in California history. The evidence was overwhelming. Fingerprints, shoe prints, stolen jewelry, eyewitness accounts. In 1989, after 4 years of trial, Richard Ramirez was found guilty of 13 murders, 5 attempted murders, 11 sexual assaults, and 14 burglaries. He would spend the rest of his life on death row, eventually dying of cancer in 2013. But here's what stays with people. Ramirez didn't just kill bodies. Some say Richard Ramirez was born evil. Others say he was made. But does that excuse the horror he caused, or just explain it? What made Ramirez especially terrifying was that he didn't just want to kill, and in that, he succeeded. Even today, decades later, the name Richard Ramirez is enough to make people lock their doors a little tighter. Because monsters don't always hide in forests or fairy tales. So, if you're ever lying in bed, unable to sleep, hearing creaks in the hallway or whispers in the dark, it's the ones you don't